Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling World Talks with Dan and Mac.
Hello! Welcome to PWW Talks as we are ramping up as our road to Wrestlemania. And apparently, there's an AEW pay-per-view this weekend that completely snuck up on us. I am your host, Dan Burke, and I am joined as ever by my co-host and best friend for over 20 years, Mac. Thank you again for coming out of this program, my friend, to talk about Wrestlemania, the road to it. And, of course, AEW Revolution, which will be taking place in LA this weekend.
Yeah, I forget what I was doing earlier, and I was just like, what are we going to talk about for the show? And I was like, oh, crap, there's a pay-per-view this weekend. I forgot.
There's an AEW, yeah, well, someone had reminded me because there was the MJF Hangman Page press conference that they decided to do, which...
I was reminded of that too, but to be 100% honest, I did not watch last night, which, shocking, I know.
Shocking.
But somebody was telling me at work, they're like, oh, you got to watch the press conference? And quite literally, I didn't say this to them, but my initial thought process was, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well,
I had no idea.
It was the equivalent of the... these boiler room brawl in the aspect of they decided to shoot the press conference like earlier in the day with like select fans and all that stuff. So it was like earlier in the day, and then they did the press conference, and then they decided, so they were brawled in the press conference. That's how it ended. But then it worked, like they worked out their way into the crowd and the live audience, but it was already pre-produced. So it's like... They're just like, they're ending the segment to brawl from the afternoon, like press conference, and then they make their way into the arena still brawling. So it was all, someone equated it to, they're like, it was kind of like the boiler room brawl from 1996, where it was just like, it was pre-produced like a couple of days earlier. And then all of a sudden it got caught up. Like when it, like you got caught up at the live audience when they made it their way out to the crowd.
And here they are, brawling for the last 5 hours since their press conference.
Exactly.
Just, yeah, it's... I feel like in context those things can work sometimes, but I feel like at this point in time, we've all kind of like smartened up a little bit.
Well, they've hurt themselves, I think, in the production of it too, because someone was telling me that it sounded like it was almost like in a tin box. Like the way it was produced. I'm like, which, you know, I get they're trying to go with the UFC feel and that type of stuff, which I really don't know why. Like you're trying to get like because some of those press conferences, unless it's with certain talents, like a Conor McGregor or a few others, those really are bores. And so I don't know why you want to just have them go out there and do a face-to-face to sell the pay-per-view. It's already a match that people want to see because, you know, of the stakes involved. And also, too, it's a Texas death match, which Hangman has a really great record in Texas death matches. And the problem is, too, is that you've now created a conundrum with Hangman, because if he loses this, he can never challenge for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship again. Sounds similar to a stipulation they did a few years ago, which I don't know what happened to that guy. I heard he's now like working for some independent company and not headlining WrestleMania this year. So who am I to know? But yeah, Hangman Page, who 1 year ago was their number one babyface. The guy that was supposed to be the one to take the title off Jon Moxley, which he did at All In Texas. But now, less than a year later, he is going up against MJF, put his future world title shots on the line. He can never be world champion again in the company if he loses this matchup. This is a terrible stipulation to a guy that has been nothing but a top babyface for you since the inception of the company.
Well, I mean, I just don't like how they do this at this point, because I don't like that he is the biggest babyface in the company when he knocks Mox off and then he drops the belt like 2 months later. And now MJF has had, I don't want to say a resurgence, but come back a little bit, maybe is a good way to say it. And now, what, you're going to have him drop the belt back to Hangman? It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
When they're teasing multiple feuds like every week.
I know. And listen, we could talk about this literally all night, I feel like, with the way they book their shows. And we'd be here all night because we've done it so many times in the past. But why don't we do this? Why don't we segue here and instead focus on the road to WrestleMania first? We'll come back to AEW because obviously, more than likely, Hangman and MJF is going to be the main event anyway. So we have far way to go before we even get to that match. But so this week on SmackDown, we found out that it will be, in fact, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton for the WWE Championship.
And I've heard a lot of arguments. I've heard a lot of discussions from people on our own page, but also in other groups that have called Cody Hogan. The fact is, folks, is that Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes is the biggest championship match you could have outside of CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And we are still in a business where you're selling tickets and you're selling, I guess you could say, they're not buy rates.
Trying to sell tickets.
Trying to sell tickets, and they've hit a bit of stagnation, which they have forgotten to realize that you need to be able to not only book a show that people want to see, but you also have to accommodate people, especially in this economy, and not try to charge them the price of a kidney, a lung.
Oh, you mean like a $700 for ringside at SmackDown?
Good Lord. Good Lord. You know, some people would rather spend their money in, let's just say, I don't know, buy a house.
I'd rather spend $700 on cheeseburgers, goddamn.
Exactly. Buy a house, buy a car, go to Disney, maybe all of the above. Who knows? And so now you got all these complaining, and I understand everybody. All right, Drew McIntyre, he deserves this. I get it. I understand. We have seen Drew and we have seen Randy before. We have seen Drew and we have seen Cody before. This is the old adage, the old student versus mentor story that has been done.
Hold on. We've seen this though too, just not for the title.
Exactly. But at the same time, now it's a different. We've seen it before since Cody has come back, because of course they did it for, I believe, it was the King of the Ring or
King of the Ring in I think 2 years ago.
Yes, or last year.
It was last year.
I think it was last year. And so yeah, we have seen it before, but at the same time, the stakes were different. And, it was like Cody's trying to go back to WrestleMania, trying to go back to SummerSlam to avenge his title loss at WrestleMania. And Randy was trying to get another shot at John Cena again. And so, but you kind of knew Cody was going to walk away the winner, because he was going to challenge John Cena and get the belt back at SummerSlam, which is what he did.
Yeah.
Where now you don't know who's going to win. You really don't. because I could see it go where Cody Rhodes retains, because in my opinion, he should have retained last year. Should have never lost the title.
1,000%.
Never lost the title. I feel like you kind of jeopardized his legacy and his marketability by not having him, because you have Roman Reigns 3 years in a row. He defends 3 years in a row. He defends the championship successfully. Cody finally beats Roman Reigns and he loses his first WrestleMania. Not good. Not good. And I understand the sentiment of, well, it's John Cena's last WrestleMania. Yeah, but he should be putting him over. Like, you should not be doing the stakes of what you are and sacrificing the guy who was King Arthur and took the sword out of the stone against Roman Reigns. But you're going to sacrifice that and put him up against, so that way John Cena could get a little nice retirement tour. I'm not saying John Cena should have gotten the Chris Paul treatment of a phone call in the middle of the night and say, hey, you're fucking done. But I didn't think he deserved this long retirement tour that included sacrificing long-term for short-term gains.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
It's the old pump and dump. You shouldn't have done that for your booking. I'm sorry.
You have about 4 or 5 weeks at this point to have a substantial build between these two, and I think they could market it very well.
Of course.
Plus, you put them in the main event of night one, and it'll have that mystique to it of being the main event, being two former friends, being for the world title. I think
Ted DiBiase Jr. waiting for a phone call, except the phone call is from
where? Prison at this point? I mean, come on. Not for nothing.
Lawyers calling him. No.
Yeah. Also, just sticking with Friday for a second, we had an interaction with The Miz and Danhausen, which people are calling it Mizhausen.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Remember what happened to Dom on Monday. Speaking of Dom on Monday, though, before we talk about Danhausen War, Finn Balor is now out of the Judgment Day.
Ah, yes.
I was very surprised that JD actually stayed with the Judgment Day.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that they probably see something in JD. Well, I think a lot of people see something in JD. And
I do too, not for nothing. But I figured maybe he would go and Dom would maybe team with somebody and they do something at Mania against the two of them. But
you can still go back to that, but who knows?
I mean, listen, you could do something with Dom and Finn at Mania. You could have a tag team. Finn finds a partner and stuff like that. I mean, it could do anything. But I thought it was interesting. I think it tells a good story.
It's Priest and Finn against.
Please, God, no.
What?
I do not want that.
Why do you want that?
I don't know.
All rise. You don't want that?
No, I don't want that. Thank you. We're gonna leave it right there.
Damian Priest is immediately like, I can't deal with this guy anymore.
Damian Priest is like, well, you already got me in this tag team thing with R-Truth, so I can't do it. Sorry. Danhausen, Amigohausen, cursed, another person. Apparently there are only 3 matches on this Raw, which I thought was very telling, because they had a lot of promo packages, a lot of other stuff going on. Seth Rollins obviously was there. Just everything going on with that. Who the hell knows where that's going to go?
What was that? What the fuck?
Yeah, the dancing mask things in the ring was dumb. Even I was just like, huh?
Oh, God. Terrible. Terrible.
So going to the last 2 segments, obviously, one is that Bayley is now the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental title. I liked the gauntlet match. I thought the right person won. I thought this was a Mania match until I read, no, this is on next week's Raw.
Yeah, well, of course, because they're going to do fucking Becky and AJ at Mania for some.
Probably. Why, though? Just why?
Becky's got it, because, of
but
course.
She doesn't need the win back at Mania.
Becky's a bigger star!
She doesn't need the win back at WrestleMania, though, Dan.
Bayley and AJ would have been sold tickets anyways, in my opinion. That would have sold just as many tickets as you would with Becky and AJ. But what the fuck do I know, right? You just want to keep milking that cow with Becky all the time. It's like you can't. Bailey could get a nice, real WrestleMania show because Lord knows you haven't booked her in any PLEs in the last year, anyways.
Yeah.
Christ Almighty.
I forgot about this because so much happened between. I feel like last Friday and whatever happens this Friday, but we did have our first standoff between Rhea and Jade finally too.
Yes.
Which gave it chills a little bit, not for nothing, because both of them I feel like can talk, but we also know there's some backstage stuff going on between the two of them too, which we have no idea if that's squash shit or not. But
hell no.
I think it could be a very good match if Jade is up to it.
If Jade is up to it, but here's the issue with that, right? Are both going to be professional?
And
try to keep.
So we asked. So hold on. So that's a great question. But we also asked it last year with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair.
Yeah,
and we did think there were some live rounds, which maybe
there was some live.
A couple,
there was,
but not as much as we thought.
Right, but I think too, Charlotte has proven, at least in the last year anyway, since then, that maybe that was kind of a little bit of a wake-up call to be like, all right. Because you notice now, especially her candor in the last year is completely overturned. We're going into WrestleMania, it was just like she had go away heat up the ass, including from, yours truly. But at least in the last year, her trajectory and her entire, I think, legacy is completely.
But hold on, shifted. Real quick. To be fair, though, I think Tiffany was also maybe in the wrong at some of the stuff that she was doing too.
Oh well, no, she was unprofessional as hell too. I'm not disclosing. I don't even think Charlotte was that unprofessional, to be quite honest, either. I thought
there were times she looked at. Maybe
she maybe, but it's like subtle, where it wasn't to the point where Tiffany was just like, nah, okay, all right. I was still surprised she won at Mania too. I was surprised she retained after that because I was expecting, all right, there's going to be punishment, but no,
nope.
She lost. Charlotte lost, and then Charlotte kind of went, and I think has kind of gone through a phase in her career that definitely she needed, where she kind of just needed to show, hey, why don't you show people that, you're not exactly your character. Like you actually are like a nice person who care about legacy. And she's done nothing but great things. I think, especially that story with the young girl with cancer, that not only has she done live shows, like she's pointed out with the live shows, she's gone and hung out with the family. She's got a vacation with the family. Like it really is a truly heartwarming story. And a lot of that is done with, I think, this kind of renaissance for Charlotte. And, too, another good thing that's come out of the Flair camp is that, and I just thought about this today, because of course I've been watching a lot of the Ric Flair stuff, because they put the Ric Flair Steamboat stuff on the WCW channel. I'm like, well, at least Flair's on some files that I thought might have come up at some point. I was waiting for that phone call of just like, it's just like you're sitting there, you're just waiting, right?
Man.
You're just like waiting for certain talent. You're just like, all of a sudden, they're just going to show up on a list somewhere. You're going to be like, oh no. But he never showed up yet. So I'm like, oh, okay, there's still hope in humanity. Because at least his legacy is just like, at least it said, well, he's only a drunken fool, but it's not like, that's minor compared to other things, right? Woo! All right. But yes, as we continue with Monday Night Raw and Charlotte Flair's legacy. But yeah, I am concerned, though, with Jade and Rhea, though. It could get a little bit more kind of unprofessional. And also because I don't know if Jade seems like the type of person that, I don't know. She might hold a bit of a grudge. Might also, if she's unsafe a little bit, might have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta worry a little bit.
I'm gonna be paying a lot of attention to that match to see like are these live rounds, or are they pulling punches a little bit, or what's going on? Because you hear the stories sometimes, especially about Rhea, where it's like she gets that look and fucking run, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jade has something similar. And obviously there are already claims that she is a certain way, so it's tough to say. And then you hear other things a little bit more recent that she is a lot nicer than what she appears to be. So it's tough to say. I mean, I feel like the WWE universe really isn't as exposed to her as obviously other fans that watch everything. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think the crux of the
I really can't wait between these two. It's gonna be fun.
Me either, honestly. But
I hope they do this on night 2, because I hope that's to be honest, I hope that's the night 2 main event, because of course our master plan, because we're just like, we're going to Regal for night 2. Like if they're doing WrestleMania night 2, we're going Regal, because we got to see Punk and Roman on the big screen. Like this is not.
Listen, I mean, not for nothing. I might go both nights. It's going to depend on what the card actually is.
That's true.
If the card looks good for night 1, I might just go both nights.
That's true. No, you might talk me into it.
I mean, if I pay for you again, I probably will. But I feel like the crux of the WWE...
I might have to have you. Who knows at this point?
I know.
A lot of money out there.
Yeah.
Mayor's pissed off.
No comment.
$20 to anybody.
I mean, listen, it's a cheap date, because not for nothing, you get in there, you get the free soda refills and the free popcorn refills, so why the fuck not?
Exactly.
But yeah.
Plus, just a market basket across the street if you want to get cheap candy.
I mean, that is true. I don't want to walk all the way down that store again, though. That's the only thing.
Jesus Christ. My favorite part of that whole
Where the fuck is the milk?
And someone answered me. Like, because they
all the way down there.
They probably get it 19,000 times a day of just someone being like, where the fuck is everything?
I feel like, I don't know, man. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just the exhaustion of sitting in the theater for like 4 hours at that point. But like, that store felt like obnoxiously large.
Oh, it was. And then on top of that, it just felt like it didn't get redesigned since 1986.
Well, yeah, I could have told you
like,
that.
Jesus.
Who needs to walk all the way down the store just to turn the corner, for Christ's sake? Good Lord. Anyway, for like the 5th time I've tried talking about this, the crux, I feel like, of this week was CM Punk not really wanting to apologize for what he said about Sika.
This is classic CM Punk, like straight edge society shit. Like, he's going to get the Usos to turn against Roman, which, to be quite honest, it's like now CM Punk is going to be able to try to unbury the goddamn Usos, because, it's, I was thinking about this earlier, because, it's like, you talk about the top 4 guys, and you talk about Drew, and Drew's getting the shaft. And I have to say this about every world champion that there has been in the WWE within the last 5 years, right? So it's like...
Including Roman?
Including Roman. But I have to say this about the last 5 years, every world champion, and I'll talk about one exception in a moment, I feel like cannot be blamed for what because everything that they have done to their best of their ability. It has been creative that has failed them, except one person, Jay fucking Uso. And now, because it doesn't matter, he's fucking yeet. I don't care how much he's fucking sold. I don't care I just don't give a flying fuck. I just don't. And I was willing to give him the opportunity at the Royal Rumble last year when he won it. I was one of those people that was just like, you know what? Fine. I'm going to give it to him. And then he went on to shit the bed every fucking time they gave him the ball. So you want me to sit here and grow confidence in a guy that has proven nothing as a singles competitor in the company?
So before we even hand him the ball, he shits the bed. He botched like 3 weeks in a row, for Christ's sake. And I was reading this week, actually, after this segment between him and Punk and Jimmy with his, I don't know, side, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. And people are like, oh, that's the Jey Uso they should get the belt to. And I'm like, no, it's really not. No. Oh, but he's so edgy and like who cares, man? Like he's getting mad, and I get that. And you want a superstar to have a fire to them for certain segments and stuff like that, and I get that. But why do you want him to then be world champion because of that when it's going to be CM Punk against his cousin Roman Reigns? Number one, and number two, does this really further the story at all? Because to me, all you're really doing at this point is like, hey, maybe we're still the bloodline. It's like, I don't want that either. Because first of all, and even CM Punk said it, Roman Reigns has said it after losing matches in the past this year, or 2025, I should say, I want to do this on my own. So unless you're going to prove that, don't do this segment, number one. But number two, you're probably not going to do it anyways. Because how willing are you going to be to give Roman Reigns the belt when he's not going to be there for 4 months and he's probably just going to come back for a match at SummerSlam? Is that really what you want to do?
I think
when you've had champions on television regularly at this point? I'm not saying that Roman Reigns is not a draw. He's absolutely a draw. And this match is 100% a draw. But at what point do you kind of sit there and like, okay, this is great, but we're probably not going to give him the belt again?
They're going to give him the belt.
I don't think it's going to be this match. And listen, at the end of the day, and I've said this before, and I'll ask you the same question, and I know the answer already, but we might as well ask it for the viewers or listeners. Do you really care who wins this match?
No.
Exactly.
I really don't. I really don't, but at the same time, I just have a gut feeling of just like, I feel like that this, again, because of, I don't think that this was the plan. The plan, I think, was Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and which would have blown. It would have sucked. And it would have sucked for numerous reasons, only because of the fact that it just, all right, I get it. All right. Oh, the Shield. All right. Let's break this down here with the Shield, okay? It was an overrated group. It was overrated. I understand that they were a great faction, or every prop pops them up that they were a great faction during a downtime with the company. And they had...
Well, I think that's true, though. But
they had good matches.
Right.
They were... And I understand all three of them obviously became main event talents. The fact is that Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose would have never reached his potential in WWE in the full potential in the presentation that he would have been allowed to get. Jon Moxley is at his absolute finest in AEW, and I know people will probably just be like, "What?" It's the truth. Moxley is comfortable in that position. Moxley is a guy you really can't produce. Just let him do his own thing and be happy in that way, and he's going to draw you money. It might not be to the extent of a Seth Rollins and a Roman Reigns. He might not draw you Roman Reigns money, but he's still going to sell a shit ton of merch. He's still going to get big time clips on YouTube because he's still a big name. Seth Rollins is a great worker that I feel like
I'm sorry.
at one point,
your hesitation to say something it just made me laugh because I know kind of your thoughts on Seth Rollins. So hearing the hesitation in your voice as you're like, Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins is a great worker.
He is.
Seth Rollins is Seth Rollins, in my opinion, is a transitional champion. You cannot build a company around him. He should never be the focal point. That's why he was effective when he was the world heavyweight.
I don't want to disagree with you. And I just, sorry to cut you off as well, but like I think he can be as a leader of a faction. I just didn't think that was the vision. That was the problem. Because he did not need Paul Heyman. Bronson Reed, I feel like can get over on his own. Braun Breaker, you diminished to do this.
Yes.
And why the fuck are we putting Logan Paul in there?
And you just made it a complete and utter disaster because it was just an absolute failure. The vision was an absolute utter failure. And and with all the rash of injuries, it just pretty much proved it.
Yeah, I there's snake bit and bad luck from the start. But like, if we go back even before this, right? So let's go back, say, 2 years ago when Drew beat him for the World Heavyweight Championship, before he got screwed over by Damian Priest with a cash in. That was Seth Rollins. Everybody was connecting with.
Mm-hmm.
From there until he started to turn more towards being a heel, especially after CM Punk came back and stuff like that. Like, it was unnecessary. I didn't need that. I get it for a CM Punk and a heel, Seth Rollins. I think, yeah, okay, but literally he had a hold of his character. It was the most over he was ever going to be in that character, and it worked. You could have him be the face of the company at that point because it was already working as World Heavyweight Champion. But then they just like, no, actually we're going to turn you heel and I'm going to give you Paul Heyman, who you don't need, and Paul definitely does not need you, but then we're going to give you the vision. Yeah, we're gonna put you in a stable. We're gonna make you the leader with Paul Heyman. You're gonna get Braun Breaker. You're gonna get Bronson Reed. A couple months, you'll get Logan Paul. If I'm Seth Rollins, I'm like, can you just release me from my contract, please?
I think the issue they've always had with Rollins is that it's like he either has to be an over-the-top character or that's it. Because he's a shitty heel. He's a shitty, whiny, cackling heel. It's terrible. Every fucking Vision promo he cut sucked. Because he'd just go out there, he'd do his little cackle, and it's like, no one gave a shit.
I mean, dude, we said it for weeks that...
Months.
Well, especially the first few weeks, because the first few weeks, it was all him talking.
Yep.
And you had Paul Heyman in the ring with you. Give him the goddamn microphone. He's one of the best talkers, if not the best talker in the business. Give him the fucking microphone.
Rollins is maybe a 6 or a 7 as a promo. Maybe.
I think that's fair. Just being nice, I think that's fair.
He's a 6 or a 7 as a promo.
I think Moxley is generous.
But Moxley is great. I think I'd give Moxley like an 8 or a 9. Roman, I'd give a fucking 10. But Seth is a 6 or a 7 as a promo. His wife is fantastic. His wife's a great promo. But Seth is a 6 or a 7. And that's why he has to work the way he does, because he has to overcompensate the fact that he is not a good promo. He's not. And Moxley's a guy you can build a company around. And I understand the fact of that, you probably said a couple of years ago, yeah, he was really over 2 years ago. Don't get me wrong. going into WrestleMania, he was a part of one of the biggest main events in the history of the company because, he's going up against The Rock, both world champions in the same card. He was the fourth most important person in that match. He was the world heavyweight champion, and he was the fourth most important person in that matchup. I mean, he was not the focal point.
You could have even
he was literally Draymond Green. That's how important he was in that matchup.
Man.
He was the fourth most important person in that match.
Yep.
And he was the world heavyweight champion.
I got the joke. Don't worry.
Yeah, listen, you could even argue he was even after fourth because you still have the referee. You had Paul Heyman out there. Solo interfered, I think, at one point.
Exactly, right? So I couldn't make the argument because, Draymond, especially when Kevin Durant was on those teams, he was definitely, and then you had Klay Thompson in his prime and Andre Iguodala. I could probably put fucking, definitely Steph Curry's, and, so it's like he could have been fifth or sixth. But yeah, you're right. Rollins could have been, because, Paul Heyman was involved in that match. So yeah, he could have been the fifth or sixth person. The fact is that compared to Moxley and Roman Reigns,
It's not that good.
It's just, I think he's a good worker. I think he's good in the ring. I think he's fantastic. But it's just, to me, as a personality, as a character, he's unremarkable. And he's in that.
I think as a character, again, just speaking to 2 years ago, I think as a character, he found it. He was doing it. And then they just flipped a coin and were like, sorry, Seth, you're the one going heel. And they just completely fucked it.
Maybe he wanted to do that, which I think was stupid. I mean, which I think was completely dumb. Because your money with this character, everybody loves you.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, he's only been back, a week and a half, if that, at this point. So we'll have to see how it goes now. But
and he was involved in this, interpretive dance.
That's what I was going to say.
Interpretive dance.
So Monday night.
Interpretive dance.
Okay. So Monday night, he comes out with all these dudes in the masks, and he puts the mask back on to try to hide himself amongst them. Which I was just like, are you serious right now? I felt like it was that I think it was Family Guy. They cloned Peter or something like that. He's doing this thing where he's trying to confuse everybody. It was something like that. I don't remember exactly. Obviously,
I felt like it was the one where Stewie and Brian just kept going back to the original pilot episode.
Oh my god! Yeah,
and it was 6,000 Stewie and Brian's. That's what it felt like. And it was just at one point, I think it was just oh, is that the one where Stewie is dead and Brian's eating it? Yeah. That's the one. Oh, God. I felt like at that point we were just going to be getting to that because it just... And I can't blame Seth for that, but at the same time...
I don't know who to blame. If that was Seth's idea, you're an idiot. If it was Triple H's idea, you're an idiot. If it was Paul Heyman's idea, I'm sorry, you're an idiot.
It's that new writer that they have... I don't know if it's Paul Heyman's idea because I don't even know Paul.
But you know, some of them write their own segments and get the sign off to do some of this stuff. So who knows?
Oh,
all right. On a maybe happy news, I don't know if it's going to be happier news, but like we said, there is an AEW pay-per-view this weekend.
Yes, there is.
Do you like some of this maybe happier news? Maybe
Jesus,
maybe
God,
not.
I'm looking at this card and I'm like, holy Christ!
Yep,
all over the place.
Yep, so let's just go through it. I got a bunch of
13
matches.
fucking matches!
Yep. We have 12 to talk about because one is somebody against they don't know who yet, so I'm never going to bother talking about that one. We can talk about that one next week. But on the 0 hour, the pre-show, we have two matches. So one will be for the TBS Championship. Willow Nightingale versus Lena Cross.
Willow.
And The other match will be a 21-man blackjack battle royal for the AEW National Championship. And so far, there is only 2 competitors that we know about. One being the champion himself, Ricochet. The other one being the Psycho Killer, Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, God. Already on the pre-show.
Because I'm not
big
booked.
signing. Oh, came in and won the fucking TNT championship for a cup of coffee on a goddamn collision that was going up against the Royal Rumble. And now he's in the pre-show going up against Ricochet in one of their 14 undercard championships that mean jack and shit.
Yeah, see, I said this to you in pre-show. I did not realize that Willow and Lena was going to be for the TBS championship, but you have 2 titles on 0 Hour. Not even booked in the main event. And the actual show itself, I should say. 0 Hour, the pre-show. That's unreal to me. Next, we have 3 matches. All of these are tag matches, so I'm just going to go through them as quickly as possible because there are 4, actually. There are 3 on this one, though. So there is a Tornado Trio match. Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, and Darby Allin versus the Dogs. Okay,
so wait a minute. I thought Darby Allin was like one of their top baby faces too. That was going to be, but I feel like he's just been in like 6-man tags now for like the last 5 years.
I don't know. That's all I can tell you.
Or he's not like in coffin matches or matches where he's like falling through broken glass and stuff.
Hey, maybe there's glass here too. We don't know yet. It's Tornado tag. Tornado tag match.
Mount Everest, man. Okay.
Tornado trios. So, I mean,
all right.
Who knows, man? Can't say. We also have for the AEW World Trios Championships, the Don Callis family versus, what does that say? Mystico Jet Speed. Okay. Okay. It's funny. I actually have another. I have a bigger one here.
Speedball, Mike Bailey.
Yeah,
and Mysticio.
I was like, are you kidding me with this? And then for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship, the Babes of Wrath versus Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. So,
Willow Nightingale playing double duty,
and Lena Cross.
Yes.
So,
why?
Good Lord.
So why don't you just cut one match out and just make it that if Willow Nightingale is pinned, she loses the tag team title and the TBS championship? How about that?
That would be a lot smarter.
That would be smarter. Oh, by the way, too, you know what you could do? Harley Cameron could be involved in pinning Willow Nightingale to win the TBS championship, but she could retain the tag team title. Make it a lot more interesting, Tony. Boom!
Book it.
Right?
Book it. And I believe the last tag match that is on the card, even though we're very early in the card, is for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, FTR versus the Young Bucks.
Super kick party.
It's going to be something.
Super kick!
Yep.
Super kick!
I think that'll be good. Not for
it's
nothing.
Great.
I think a lot of these matches will be.
Ever, so.
What's up?
2 of the best tag teams ever.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. For our next matchup,
Super kick. Sorry,
there might be some of that. For the AEW Continental Championship, there will be a no time limit match: Jon Moxley versus Takeshita.
Ah, yes, the Takeshita, the former IWGP champion, going up against Jon Moxley. This should be good. I think they're trying to tease a face turn for Takeshita, so this might be kind of the seal of approval of that. So
I think they should do it. I think he should absolutely go over.
Well, no, he might not go over. What I'm saying
should,
is that he might at least get like, well, he should, yes. Will he is another story.
Yeah.
But I do think that he's at least going to get a face turn.
You should. You should.
Yes,
I
because
at this point.
I think he is starting to get the support of the audience. So,
I mean, the Death Riders also are really their own thing now without him. So, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I don't think he needs it anymore, and they don't really need him anymore. And you could have a great match here with Takashita.
Yes.
All right, moving on. So I think it kind of starts to pick up around here. We have an everyone banned from ringside match. Time with Toni Storm versus Marina Shafir. Just the only thing I could say here is how many times you have to keep digging into the well, guys. I'm over this. I've been over this for months at this point.
Moving on. Yeah.
I think this next match would be a banger, though. Bandito versus Andrade.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
That's going to be a banger.
That is going to be fun.
That straight up has certified banger written all over it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch that one.
Yeah. We also have Swerve against Brody King.
Ooh. Another one that I'm just like, okay. Yeah, there's two those are two matches now that you're just like, okay, that piques my interest. That really piques it.
Yeah, I think where Bandito and Andrade is going to be very much this match of like high flying and technical skills. Swerve and Brody are just going to manhandle each other.
They're just going to beat the shit out of each other, and I'm all here for it.
Yep. I could not agree more.
Swerve.
And then I feel like the two big matches of the night in terms of both women's and the men's. First one is AEW Women's World Championship, a 2 out of 3 falls match. Thekla against Chris Statlander.
Yes. Is this going to be the kind of coronation, at least in front of a pay-per-view audience, for the because she kind of came out of nowhere as Thekla. At least I'm sure, though, there's some people who are like, you know, yeah, shut up, relax. Considering the fact that she only debuted in like 2017 and only signed with, and sorry, people, but not everyone watches like Ice Ribbon and, World Wonder Ring Stardom.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not everyone watches that. A lot of people, they watch WWE, AEW. There's a lot of people in recent weeks, considering everything that's been going on with the Danhausen situation, they had no idea what AEW was doing with Danhausen, or that Danhausen was working in other promotions.
Not for nothing, but AEW really wasn't doing much with them anyways.
That's true. They weren't. But still.
No, I agree.
Like he wasn't known on a national basis to the extent that a lot of people think sometimes, like some of the AEW sickos, so to speak, believe, that their company is just like, we have so much, everyone loves us. Oh, we're the greatest wrestling company ever. Woo! Woo! Everyone loves us. Woo! Where, there's half the audience. It's just like, it's like a Wayne Knight thing in Jurassic Park. Look, everybody, it's AEW. See, nobody cares.
It's funny that just by the name Wayne Knight, I knew what you were talking about.
Of course.
You didn't have to say anything about Jurassic Park.
Of course. I don't even know. Knew. I don't know because the fact is that, folks, the last time that I've watched Jurassic Park may have been in like 1995. Okay. I only remember because I wasn't that big on the dinosaur craze some of my other constituents when they were children. And I get that, right? I understand that. I didn't care about the dinosaurs as much as they did. They wanted to go see Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 and blah, 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 blah. I could have given a shit. I didn't care about the dinosaurs as much as other people did. All right? Didn't care. So I don't know the guy's name, and I'm sure people are sitting there, they're just like, why are you just going on this rant? I don't know!
Nedry. Nedry was his name in Jurassic Park.
It was Nedry?
Nedry.
It was Nedry.
I forget his first name, but yeah, it was something Nedry.
Did you look that up?
I knew that off the top of my head, actually.
God fucking damn it.
I was in the other boat. I love those movies. I loved the first movie. I've watched it ad nauseum.
I understand why the first people like the first one. Okay?
I liked the second one because it was different. The third one, I really didn't care for. Like, I'm not going to say at all. If you're going to ask me which Jurassic Park movie I did not care about at all, it was the newest one. I absolutely hated it.
Was it the raptor on the plane that did it for you in the third one?
I just didn't care for it as much. I thought it was cool, don't get me wrong. I just, we went back, but now it's with Alan Grant. It's like, I
still remember.
But hold on real quick. Just be straight out. Like the new movie, the one that came out a year or two ago. I absolutely hated that movie. It's like they're dinosaurs, but they're mutants now. Like, just get the fuck out of here.
Stop!
Yeah. Like,
we can't take this anymore. What are you doing?
He's a dinosaur, but instead of 2 arms, he has 4. Get the fuck out of here.
Did you ever go on the Jurassic Park ride at Universal? Island of Adventure?
No, because they've only been at Universal once, and it was a million years ago.
Well, I remember that was actually a really fun ride because literally you're on this this boat, and then you're just floating into the gates, and the music starts playing, and that's just like these animatronic raptors, and then all of a sudden you get to this part where you see just this giant goddamn T-Rex just staring at you and just going roar, and then all of a sudden you drop because it's a giant water ride.
Maybe because we just talked about it, but now all I can think of is Peter Griffin. Oh my goodness. Oh no! He ate Quagmire! Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, listen though, to come back to this a little bit, I don't know enough about that because I haven't seen enough of her in the ring to really know how great she is or what kind of champion she is or anything, but I think this would be a good match for what it is, not for nothing. It's something away from Toni Storm, it's something away from Mercedes Moné, and I think they need to build up new stars in the women's division, so I don't hate it.
Or they could start using Dorino Peraza and stuff like that, for Christ's sake. That poor girl.
There's that too. I mean, and not for nothing, and we didn't really talk about this. You bring in the Iconics, and you have them just get jobbed out in their first match.
You got to give them credit though. At least they decided to go deal with the job. Unlike,
I guess,
if Tegan Knox, she would have been complaining about it, but no, we're not doing that. No,
I guess. But that'll bring us.
I thought the Iconics were going to go back to WWE.
I did too.
I was like,
I thought David Finlay was too. Not for nothing.
Well, I understand David Finlay. I was like, whatever.
Did you see Fitz post, by the way?
Well, it was. I thought he was talking about the other. I thought he was talking about. Was that a response?
I think it was. Yeah.
What did he say?
He said something to the effect of change your name. There's more. There's more to it, but that was the gist of it.
Now they're probably going to be on TV more. I heard him and Regal.
Yeah, which not for nothing. I mean, somebody said like, oh, it's Legacy and whatever the other Randy Orton. What was the other one that he was in? What was
Evolution, Legacy.
No, maybe maybe it was just Legacy. I could have sworn there was another one. Like, oh, it's just Legacy 2.0, and I'm like, and your point is, and your point is what? But I mean, listen, I love Fit Finley. I love William Regal. So if they're on TV more with this, I'm all for that. But that will bring us to the main event in a Texas death match for the AEW World Championship. MJF will defend against Hangman Adam Page, as we already kind of discussed earlier. I don't need this to be a death match. All your big payoffs do not need to be a stipulation match.
I'm fine with the death match.
I'm fine with it too, but I don't need it.
I don't need it, but I'm fine with it. I just think the stipulation is fucking stupid. Unless the only stipulation that I would give, if it's like he can't challenge MJF for the world title anymore, that's a fine stipulation. That's one that I can warrant. Okay, he can't challenge MJF again for the title.
Yeah, not. But
these
ever.
Fucking, this is so dumb. And it's like, you know the outcome of this because you did it with Cody, and it handcuffed Cody. Nobody gave a shit about Cody after that. And what did Cody do? He's now headlining another WrestleMania. What, his fourth in a row? His fourth WrestleMania in a row. He's going to be headlining.
I'm trying to think. Roman. I mean, technically it's his fifth if you count night 1 and night 2 that one year.
That's true. You're right. 5 in a row.
That's assuming he main events night 1 or night 2, which he probably will.
He's probably going to main event night 1 at least.
That's my guess too.
Like they're unless Jade and Rhea just becomes that hot of an angle, which is still a possibility.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't disagree with your sentiment about I don't need the stipulation. So the stipulation is not the Texas Deathmatch part, but the fact that Hangman will be unable to go for the title again if he loses this match. Which, at that point, cool. He's probably going to win the match then. Which I don't understand why. Why did you have him drop the belt in the first place then? And what does that do to MJF?
And if he loses, which I firmly believe that Swerve Strickland's going to fuck him over. And they're just going to have Swerve Strickland and him kind of. And.
Which I wouldn't hate that, but I don't care.
Which leads me to believe, and this is me theorizing, and people can say what they want or whatever.
Boo ran.
I believe that if you do this storyline, that it is going to come down to Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Page in a loser leaves AEW match. And Hangman Page will leave AEW.
Next week on NXT. I'm kidding. But yeah.
Or either retire outright or go to WWE because Cody Rhodes talked him into going. That's how I see this going. Because if you do this and Hangman loses, the only other option for Hangman at that point is loser leaves AEW match with Swerve Strickland. Swerve wins. Hangman leaves the company. That's how this goes.
And
you heard it here first.
I wouldn't hate Hangman in WWE, but I also feel that you're gonna have this segment of the audience that is gonna treat it like other AEW talent that has kind of come over. Because some of them have done very well, but not all of them. Some of them needed time. Sure, not all of them again. And you can make the same argument for not just AEW talent, but other talent in general that has come from other promotions that have shows, I'll say it that way, not the indies. So like Jordan Grace, I feel like made an immediate impact because she was on the Rumble 2 years in a row. Stephanie Becerra made an instant impact. Julia made an instant impact. Both coming from Stardom and other promotions in the past. I think Stephanie did work in AEW at least once, obviously. Ethan Page, I think, was an immediate shoo-in. Ricky Saints, I think, took a couple of weeks, but same thing. And then you get a guy like Royce Keys, who came in at the Rumble and has not even been featured on TV since. It's like night and day with some of them. It's just completely different. I think Hangman is one they would have to build up a little bit. I think a guy like MJF who can talk, I'd be like an immediate call up right to Raw. Like, not even going to put him in NXT at all, just go right to Raw. Pass go, collect $200, bye-bye. I don't know if it's the same with Hangman. I think the audience that knows Hangman, yeah, probably it would be. But I think that for those that don't, and we saw it with Danhausen, right? Came out, people were like, who the hell is this guy? Meanwhile, those of us that know him are like, finally! He's finally here!
I feel
it's
like
gonna be tough with him.
I feel like if it was Hangman 2022, 2021, 2022, to have
I would
him,
not care.
It would have been hard.
Oh, 100%. I wouldn't have cared.
But I feel like him now as a character, him now as a talker, him now with his confidence, I feel like now that would carry a long way. And people are probably sitting there and theorizing, well, I mean, CM Punk and him, there's three different brands. They don't have to coexist whatsoever. Plus, if he's in Cody's pocket, Cody's friend, Cody and him have a relationship. It is well known that Cody Rhodes has said at certain points that Hangman Page is one of his favorite wrestlers to watch. He said that. He's gone on the record with that. And he's got to have certain people in his ear. And you wonder with Hangman Page, where else to go with this character? Where else to go with the company? There's only one other way really to go. And that's do something career-ending with Swerve Strickland and either get out of the business entirely and kind of do something else, or, focus on your teaching, which you were doing before or still doing now. I don't know. I think that you're...
Well, as you were talking, sorry to cut you off, but I Googled it. And for point of reference, Hangman Adam Page contract. That's all I Googled. And it says that Hangman Adam Page is currently signed to most likely a long-term contract with the AEW that runs at least through 2027.
So it's not out of the question.
No, this very well could be his last year.
So it's not out of the question.
No, not at all.
And
so to your point, though, of what you're saying, he could lose this match, and then he could do something with Swerve, maybe a couple other people, and then because it doesn't say when in 2027, it doesn't. We don't even know if this is confirmed. I just Googled it. There's a couple here that say the same thing, 2027. So I mean, it stands to reason that maybe it could be January 1st, 2027. This is the last year. He's going to wrap up, and then maybe he is going to make the jump. Or to your point, maybe he could be done. Who knows? Adam Page, for reference, is 34 years old.
Oh, shit. Yeah, there's some juice to that.
Yeah.
There's some real juice.
He'll be 35 in July.
35.
So if he is able to maybe slow down his pace a little bit, and I hate to say it that way, but it is the truth, right? I think if he takes less risks as well in the ring, maybe stop doing Texas death matches after this, by the way, I think there stands to reason that, yeah, he could wrestle for another 5+ years, obviously.
Hangman Page in WWE is not something I would, and again, I am someone that 4 years ago probably would have been like, no, fuck away. But my opinion has changed over the last 2 years because of the performer that I have seen, and not only in ring, but is now, like, when I saw him in the promo work with MJF when he was the babyface as the champion, and at one point he just grabbed the microphone from MJF with all the confidence in the world and just cut like this fiery babyface promo at him and upstaged the one of the best talkers in the company and all of wrestling right now. It grew my appreciation and approval and just saying, okay, he's figured it out. So now him being in WWE, there's some intrigue there. There's some meat on that bone, so to speak. Cody is going to want a dance partner, especially two guys that he knows he can have good matches with. And he knows he can work with Hangman Adam Page. And also, if they're going to do a Cody heel run, Cody's going to probably need some backup, bring in some old friends. It would make all the sense in the world to have Hangman working with him. So I do believe that there is some meat on that bone. And I think that it's going to come down to Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page, a loser leaves AEW match, and Hangman makes his way over to WWE, or he's done completely. I don't know. I do feel like, though, that the timing of everything, you're going into this match with that stipulation. So if he loses, you're handcuffing him. And the last guy that you gave this stipulation to, no one gave a shit about, really, after that loss. So you wonder now if the same thing is going to happen. And if Hangman is going to be in a big blow-off with Swerve, loses, leaves the company, and the rest is history.
We'll see. I think we got plenty of time if his contract isn't up until 2027 to figure that out, though. That being said, you have to look at the timing, right? So this is 3 days from now, at the time we're recording this anyways.
Yes.
So is it Swerve or is it somebody else that interferes? And they have that be a segue into something with Swerve then after. That would be a question. I don't think you burn this for a year. I don't. Not if that kind of event happens.
The Swerve heel turn kind of got my wheels going when I heard that this was a stipulation. I was like, oh, well, now that Swerve's a heel, this makes complete sense on to get him more heat, especially with the storyline under it. And then too, where thinking about it, those two, the only way that feud could end is if there was a definitive end where it's like the loser have to leave the company.
Yeah, but you can't do that with that much time left in your contract, I feel like.
I don't know.
It wouldn't make sense to me. You could pay the guy to sit home that much. I know he's done it, but I don't think that'd be smart.
Well, this is the same guy that's still paying Britt Baker, and she hasn't been on TV in over a year.
This is true. This is very true.
She has not been on TV since like November of 2024. So
I don't know what they're doing, man. I just don't.
Look, hey, there's some things I like, there's some things I don't, but the same thing can be said about the E. So,
the same thing can be said about any promotion, really. I mean,
exactly.
There's always going to be something you don't like. There's always going to be something you do
I was
like.
like that. I was like that in '99. I'm going to be like that now in 2026. I was like that in '91. I was like that in '94. Every year that I've liked this industry, there's always a kind of a la carte. And now with the invention of the internet, I can stop and just say this sucks and go to something else.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know people griped about only 3 matches on Raw this week. I think part of that is that gauntlet match, though, ate up a lot of time. There was a couple matches in one match, so I kind of get it. But, people are going to say what they're going to say, and if you don't like it, don't watch it. That's all I can tell you.
I mean, you're going to be fulfilled this weekend if you buy the AEW pay-per-view, because I'm sure it's going to be about as long as the Easter Mass.
It's funny you say that, because I literally was thinking before I said anything about the match, like, and coming out at 12:30 at night. It's just that makes it tough for me.
The Texas Death Match ends at 4 a.m.
I mean, listen, I would not be surprised if they go past midnight again. I just wouldn't.
Of course they are. No, they're going to. It's going to go to like 1:30, 2 o'clock. And I have a feeling that Texas Death Match is going to go to at least 12:55, 1 o'clock in the morning. I would not be surprised if they don't and then it's just like this hangover of people on Monday. And that's just not people coming from the Worcester Parade, the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Which I believe is on Sunday. Which, I don't know if what is very interesting and also very sad, so to speak, is O'Connor's Restaurant announced they are permanently closed effective immediately after a water pipe burst. The restaurant has been kind of troubled in many years, especially with COVID and murder that happened at the restaurant that did not kind of help its reputation. It shouldn't have affected its reputation, but of course it did. But then, of course, O'Connor's Restaurant Irish Pub was a mainstay for the parade, and on the weekend of the parade, or it could have been last weekend, but I think it's this weekend, the mainstay of the parade will not be open for after the parade. So and also for St. Patrick's Day, it's like so the city is kind of the area of Central Massachusetts is almost in mourning over a restaurant closing. I'm like, okay, all right, okay, all right, that's.
I've maybe not witnessed, but heard of or seen some of these restaurants that I used to frequent closing, and it's just I don't have that same, I don't know what's the word, attachment. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I'm blanking on that one, but yeah, I don't have the same attachment to it anymore. I just don't. Like, one of the places I used to go all the time, I played trivia there and everything. I heard it closed. I don't know, a few months ago at this point. And I think my response to one of my friends was like, okay.
Because the thing is with restaurants is it's like a dime a dozen. Like, there have been plenty of places that I enjoyed at one point that just, they close off. Like, they close. Like, it's just either because of financial reasons.
Well, yeah, I mean, COVID hit a lot of these places too. Kind of like
even before that, there were a lot of places I used to go to that they couldn't make it. Like, there were certain aspects of the economy, or just they were
but it's
illegal fronts.
It's funny that you said the economy, though, because that's literally what I was thinking. It's like some of these places, just the one I was thinking of specifically, right? It had a lot of different foods, and I went there because, first of all, they had trivia, and second of all, because they had happy hour appetizers. So you go in for happy hour. You're already getting the discounted beer for happy hour, but also they had happy hour appetizers where it was a smaller portion for less money. So I could get a few of those and be good to go. And it'd be literally a few of them would probably be the price of a meal. Whereas if I'm getting a meal, especially now too, right? Like prices have gone up a lot. Like I'm talking when I was in my mid 20s in the early 2000s versus 2026, where if you want to go to Five Guys, for example, you're probably spending $30 just on yourself. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's terrible.
Meanwhile, I can do my food shopping, which I did today, actually, funny enough.
Can you imagine?
And I spent maybe $100.
Can you imagine going to a restaurant with certain people when they're trying to argue with you what they had a portion from that said menu item? You know, like the amount. Oh, I only had 2 things from that, and then you're just sitting there with a calculator ready to punch him in the fucking face because he's just got to sit there.
It's funny. It's
the goddamn bill.
That. It's funny you say that. So first of all, I know somebody that does that.
That's why I'm mentioning it.
I know. I don't know. I don't know if we're talking about the same person. Funny enough, but he was also the worst fucking tipper in the world too. He would turn down like $2 for like we'd split the bill obviously, and for a tip he'd throw like $2, and I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I tip very well, ironically enough.
Fucking
Why
Mr.
peeved
Pink
me out?
Goddamn Reservoir Dogs.
I
don't believe in tipping. I don't believe in it.
Dude, I just, I'm not going to talk shit.
Exactly.
I do want to wish somebody a happy birthday, though. Happy birthday to our friend Johnny.
Yes, Johnny.
Friend of the show. We both remember his birthday was today. Dan hit him first. I hit him 5 seconds after that, which I thought was hilarious because I was going to let you know, hey, just in case you forgot, and then you already hit it. So, yeah, happy birthday, Johnny. Many returns. Happy ones, of course.
Well, I have a feeling we'll be getting together real soon down the line, my friend. I suppose... no, I'm not going to do that yet. But, I'm not going to do that yet. But, like,
give it a couple weeks. Give it a couple weeks.
Give it a couple weeks, yeah. Like, because I'm still very... I'm Mr. Superstitious, folks. Like, it's just... I've just had things the rug yanked out from you enough times in your life that you're just like, So it's like I just need certain things to kind of fall into place where I'll make a announcement to the public, and it won't really affect this show at all. I mean,
it might
make it better.
I think it might affect it for like
a week or two, maybe,
as things fall into place and stuff.
Yeah,
but
they just have to fall into place. Just fall into place.
But I feel like we could probably record 2 shows, whatever week that is.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
We might have to anyways. I have stuff going on in a couple weeks, so.
Yeah, no.
But depending on the timeline, it might actually work out.
It might actually work out. It'll also work out too from one perspective. Like if I decide to do 2 shows where I need content, it'll be like I'll have to be going through stuff anyways. So I'll be like, exactly. It'll be fine. We'll just do a collector show.
Exactly. Yep. Straight up.
Yeah, but hopefully I can make a positive announcement down the line, folks. But right now it is still.
I feel like you're at the point where you probably could now, but like
I don't.
I do. Fine. No. Hold on. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I wouldn't because you just never know.
Exactly. It is. There are. I was just sitting with people today, and certain documents have been signed but we're not. There are other things still in play here that before anything is official.
Nothing is official until you have certain things in your hand. So
exactly, that's the way I think. That's the way I look at it. Like Yogi Berra said, it ain't over till it's over. So that's the way we got to kind of go into that. But we have a pay-per-view this weekend. So for you fans that are going to check that out, it's probably definitely something I'm going to definitely keep my eye on. I don't know if I'm going to order it only because of the fact
I'm not ordering it. I can tell you that.
I have
right
a job,
now.
folks.
Yeah.
Like I have a job. And plus two, it's just my mental alarm clock now. I'm up at like 5:30.
There's going to be match recaps the next day.
Exactly.
I'm just not worried about it. If you're going to spend money on the show, absolutely good for you. Hopefully it's money well spent. I'm going to ignore whatever he just said. Hopefully it's money well spent, truthfully. I hope you have fun watching it. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
Good luck. I hope you go to work late on Mondays and class late on Mondays. That's all I can say, folks.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you're not going to church on Sunday morning, Gracie, because you will probably not get a lot of sleep.
Well, isn't it a Sunday show?
I think it's a Saturday show.
Oh.
Hold on. Nope, you're right. It is Sunday. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's a Sunday show. Oh, no.
Call out on Monday, folks. I don't know what else to tell you.
You know what I also realized, too? So
What's
this is
that?
on the West Coast, which means...
It's an 8 o'clock start, yeah.
So it's an 8 o'clock start. Oh, no.
That's... So, I mean, I don't know... Hold on.
Oh, my God.
Let me go back to the pictures for a second. So zero hours starts at 7, and then the show starts at 8.
Oh my God!
So
you're so screwed, people.
Yeah, I would not want to be up till 1 o'clock in the morning, which objectively I probably would be at that point.
Or 2 o'clock.
Just don't jinx it, man. Listen. If you want to watch it, folks, all the power to you. I will not be watching it live. I will catch recaps the next day probably because there's just no way.
I can't do it.
There's just no way.
I can't do it, Captain. I just can't do it. I can't. I can't. You know, it's kind of like my body this winter. We just can't do it anymore. Like
Bob Dole.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Bob Dole.
Like,
Bob Dole.
My right shoulder's looking at me. He's just like, no, we can't. It's over. It better not snow again because we're gonna have to go see a doctor or something.
Yeah, and listen, you know what? Not for nothing. I was very happy with the weather in the Northeast this week until today, where it was like snowy and 35. Get your shit together, please, Seasons.
Telling you, this winter's want me to go to retirement. Telling you that much.
I'm actually going to look something up as we're talking real quick. So, I do not see a curfew for Crypto Arena.
Oh!
Here's what it says. Previous curfew is 1 square mile, restricted 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in June 2025. Curfew was lifted later that year in June 17th, 2027. So I do not see that as a curfew currently.
Oh, boy.
Strap in, folks. Strap in.
In-N-Out Burger is going to be doing great business that night.
Rip your sleep schedule. In-N-Out Burger probably will be doing master business that day. Right.
The only reason I'd go to the West Coast is for goddamn In-N-Out Burger. Like
I'd go for a lot of things, I feel like. But yeah, that would be one of them for sure.
I don't want to go to Vegas. Vegas now is an overpriced fucking relic. So it's like, Vegas.
I would go to Vegas for like a day, a night, maybe. I would not want to spend more than that there. I would go to other places, maybe in the surrounding areas, but that's about it. I would not want to hang around Vegas. It's too overpriced now.
Yeah.
Didn't we say like a couple weeks ago, or maybe we saw it somewhere else? I don't remember, but it was better when the mob ran.
Yes. No, I believe I said that because, it's just, it's like, they did it with class at least. They were just like, yeah, we're going to take your house, but, hey, here's some tickets to Sinatra. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I feel like that's all I would do. Like, not Sinatra, obviously, specifically that, all things considered, but just in general, right? Like, I'd go to do a little gambling, see a show, and that's it. I don't care. Like, if WrestleMania was affordable, I would go. I would go for the experience. I'd hang around Vegas for the weekend, and that's it. I would not want to spend more than 2-3 days there.
Yeah.
Like, rip my bank account, But it's not affordable, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's like, I'd rather spend my money on other things. Like,
vast amount of marijuana.
Nice shirts.
I actually just played Ozzy. You can't hear it, so.
Other things. Marijuana and
Smoke.
I mean, hey,
Yeah. That's why I played Ozzy. I mean, I figured that's where we were going to go with it at first, but.
Yeah, right. Marijuana.
Oh, my goodness.
After our pot talk decides to ramble on for another 25 minutes, we're going to finish things out, and we hope everybody enjoys AEW Revolution. Don't stay up too late. Don't give your bosses a hard time on Monday. And I guess bosses on Monday, too, you got to kind of give your employees all right, I understand.
Yeah. If they're a wrestling fan and they tell you, oh, I watched AEW last night, just say okay and move on.
Yeah. Hangman and MJF was a banger, I got to admit.
Hopefully that's the conversation we're having next week.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
You never know. All right, folks. We will see you next week. Enjoy Revolution. Bye.